What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 374 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
Yo.
And this week, we're geeking out about POW. I'm kidding. We probably are, honestly. But we're geeking out about fighting games, fighting movies, and shows that fight with our childhood a little bit.
Big corporations, definitely.
Yes. Always at war. First, we'll talk about the games that we'll be playing, and let's talk about Power World last, just so that statement's not too on the nose.
Okay.
We all have been playing Power World. It's great. But what else have you played, LJ?
I played a few things. First, I do want to shout out Lethal Company. Super hilarious game. It's definitely a game you play with friends. Great streaming game. Played it with some friends this week. And so the concept is like Escape the Backrooms or like what's the other game? Labyrinthine. But I'd say it bears a lot of similarities to like Phasmophobia too, because the idea is you work for this scrap company, I guess, and you're in these like hazmat suits. So the idea is you're landing on these randomly generated planets, and you're going into these factories and grabbing like any scrap you can. And so you can purchase tools when you start, like flashlights and stuff like that.
Right. Yep.
But the idea is you're landing on a planet that might be like flooded. It might be foggy. It might have like whatever issues. But not only do you have to deal with that, the factories that you're going into. Technically, it's a lot scarier. So you're going into these factories, and even outside these factories, there are these monsters, these horrific monsters that are very Escape the Backrooms-esque. They're silly. They're weird. But yeah, you can't get killed by anything. You have to extract with the scraps. You only have I think 4 days, and the last day you have to make sure to return to the company so you can actually get paid and make quota. And let me just tell you, me and my group, we did not make quota at any point. It was ridiculous. There are some fun clips going around.
You're gonna get fired.
Yes, and when you get fired, that's the funny part, is you basically get like Among Us, when you get booted out into space. That's what happens when you get fired in Lethal Company. They basically jettison you out of their autopiloted ship. And you just start from square one. It's super fun. So if you got a good group to play with, or even if we needed to play, it's not like super gory horror. There's not any gore or anything. I don't think. At least, as far as I've seen, if you might explode, I don't know if there's a lot of blood or anything. At least I didn't see any. It's mostly just like a body on the floor. We had one guy, we're like, oh, there's a mine right there. And then our buddy, who's known for kind of causing chaos, he walks over to the mine, looks at it, and boom, it dies. And I'm just like, bro, we told you there was a mine.
That's
you went to
what happens.
So we were like, yeah, he kissed a mine and he liked it. So this is our line for that, but it's super funny, super fun game. I recommend it if you got a good group.
I've ever since it started getting more popularity, I've been wanting to play it, and no one's wanted to play it with me. So
it's $10.
I have not played it yet.
It's $10.
No one's interested, and I'm
my friends were short.
I have some friends who are interested, but I just haven't. Every time they've met to play, I'm busy, so I haven't played.
It's so funny. I've had so my friends were short a person, and then now I popped into chat and they're like, hey, you want to play? I was like, oh, it's only $10. Sure.
Yeah.
So it was good fun.
Very much worth it. I want to play it so bad.
Yeah, it's so silly.
I don't have the friends.
Good times. The other thing I've been playing that's much more my bread and butter is Tekken 8. Since that dropped, we did get a review copy last minute before it launched. So I'm reviewing that for the website. So that feels really cool. I definitely have the last Guilty Gear game we got a copy of. Street Fighter we got a copy of. Tekken we got a copy of. So I'm collecting the Infinity Gauntlet of fighting games here. Definitely need, if they ever come out with a new Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna try to get that too. Or maybe an Injustice, but I've gotten to review the big fighting games. Tekken is really good. I'll say if I had to pick an order for the last couple releases we got for the genre, I would say Street Fighter is definitely number one. I feel like that is probably the biggest fighting game release. Tekken 8 is number two, and then Mortal Kombat is still Mortal Kombat, but it's definitely the lower out of the big three. Tekken 8 is super fun because they added this like heat mechanic, this heat gauge, where if you try to go back on the offensive, you can actually get some health back. Because there's like this, when your health bar starts to go gray a little bit, that means you have health that you can get back.
Oh,
and it's super fun. So like there can be battles where I'm about to lose. But if I get on the offensive a little bit and try to work it a little bit, I can at least gain some health back and try to like actually win the fight or win a round when I thought I was fully done. Super good. A lot of the characters are like, there's definitely characters in this like I couldn't really use in the past games that I feel like they're more accessible now because of the new mechanic. If you go, I mean, I think Tekken's notorious for how silly the story is, especially like it's like this like family feud that the whole world is like witnessing. Yes. So basically like it's like Jerry Springer on a global level because these fathers and sons and family members fighting with each other. So it gets like, so I thought Tekken got weird. I thought Tekken was weird already, but this story in this one gets even weirder. It gets like to like Gurren Lagann, like cosmic level, like weird. Which is great. I mean, I loved that show just because of how ridiculous it was. And I think that's why the story of Tekken is like kind of enjoyable because it's so out there. You do have a thing you could watch that gives you a synopsis of like all the past games. If you're not familiar with Tekken, but I think most people are familiar. It's kind of like obvious. But yeah, it's super good. Super fun game. Not really much else to say right now. There's like an arcade quest thing where it teaches you, like, it's like a kind of a story, like little playable thing, but it's more like an extended tutorial that kind of helps you learn the game if you've never even played a Tekken game before. Yeah, that's not a whole lot to say. Definitely playing online already. It does feel really weird, like going into this game, like having gotten so deep into like Tekken 7, like, so it feels like, I don't know. It feels like I already know how to play the game, but it's just like interesting to find to experience the changes and things like that. So it's really cool. I'm enjoying it a lot. I don't necessarily know that it's as accessible as Street Fighter 6 is, like as far as like for newcomers, but I'm having fun with it. So it's really enjoyable. So that's about it for Tekken. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing. I mean, I know we've all been playing Power World still, so.
Yeah. Shelley, what have you been playing?
I haven't been playing anything new besides Power World.
Power World, that's the same with me. I've just been playing Power World. So, yeah, you could have got right into it.
That's funny.
That's
cool.
It's hard to put down. I was about to say fun. I don't know about fun. It's hard to put down. I will start, and then dropping the game is so difficult to me.
Yeah, because you kind of get on a roll. At least I do. I tend to get on kind of like a roll. I'm like, oh, I need this, and I'm going to build this, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm like, oh, but then I get distracted because there's...
Yeah, and then it's like you give yourself tasks, and then it's like, oh, well, I got this other thing I could do, like...
Mm-hmm. I'll start exploring, and then I'm like, well, I can't stop exploring until I find a fast travel. I can't just end up here. That would be crazy. And then... or I'll die. And when I die is usually when I put a game down. I don't rage quit necessarily, but I'm very much sort of like, all right, well, I've died like 3 times, I'm done. And so in this, that's my put down time. That's when I move on to something else in life. And in this game, I'm like, I died. I have to go get my stuff before I can end this.
See,
and sometimes you go get your stuff, and you're like, well, I have my stuff now, so I guess I can just keep going.
I'm playing on casual, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm on whatever the second difficulty is, like closest to the easiest.
I thought there was only like 3. So you're probably just on normal. I have no idea. Maybe there is more, but
I'm on Xbox version. It's weird. I thought there was a few of them, but there might not be.
There's at least 3. I know for sure.
Yeah. So I die every once in a while. Usually I will travel way farther than I need to, and I have no business being over in level like 40. Pals are coming at me. I've got level 20 something pals at the moment. But, it's a lot of fun. I really want another base. I have 2 of them, and I want to move one of them. And the other one is just a quarry for iron, and it's not really a base. Yeah. I will say that's been my biggest thing. please give me item transfer between bases. I should be able to.
Yes,
I'd even
that
put
was
pals in
like.
place.
I finally got my second base, and I was like, "Wait a second, I have to go back to my old base just to grab stuff." So I can build stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna do this. So I do have at least like beds there, and I do have some pals assigned there. There were a lot of trees around, so they just started chopping down trees, and I might have put a couple of things. I remember putting a feed box, and I just remember thinking, "This is a lot of maintenance." And I don't want to just be spending my time at bases for this whole game. And also, I don't even like the idea of having more than one base. Like, if it's a base, it's my base. That's where I go. That's my home. I don't really like the idea of more than one base. So I think I'm going to try to, like, slow down my role there. Maybe even put my pals away. And what I could do is I can reassign them maybe if I need them to, like, do something. But I'm like, otherwise, I could use this just as a fast travel point and still just have my first base be my primary one. Because otherwise, it's just going to take my time away from what I actually enjoy in the game. Micromanaging is not what I enjoy in the game. I enjoy, like, going around, catching, exploring, fighting. That's what I enjoy. And I'm not big on the base stuff. I just do it because I feel like I need to. And it can be satisfying, but I'm like, I can't do two. That's way too much. So I just need to.
I really want to do, like, an actual, like, I don't know. For me, I have my normal base, and that's, like, my normal resource center. And I really wish I could kind of get the quarry to be part of that too, but there's not enough space to do both. The iron quarry.
Just have two bases right next to each other.
There you go, yeah.
Just make one big mega base.
It is crazy how quickly you can get weighed down, by, like, especially all those big items. I'm just like, oh, I can't even move now.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you produce so much, you could still discard a lot of it and still get away with it.
I've just been putting all of my skill points into weight, which is probably not the best way to play the game, but I'm like, I'll carry everything. But what I would like to do is I have, like, a resource center, and then I have the iron quarry, because you have to. The iron stuff annoys me too. The fact that I can get the iron mined, and I can get it in the furnace, but I have to be the one that puts in the furnace, so I have to go back there and do stuff for it to, like, keep going. I want to be able to set things in place and leave them until they, like, something, attacks or something like that. So my third base, to me, is, like, what you're saying, is, like, your normal, like, your real base. It's where I want to build and play and, like, have fun, because my first one is just a resource place to, like, get the stuff that I need to level up.
Yeah.
And it's not aesthetically pleasing.
That's a good point too.
Building that.
Yeah, that's true.
I want something to decorate, because that's just how
I'm not a decorator. My coworker was already showing me his base. He just started playing Power. He was like, "Here's my base," and I'm like, low key. I'm not actually mad, but I'm like low key mad. I'm like, why does yours look so much better than mine? Mine's ugly as heck. Like, I literally which is how I play short farming sim survival games in general. Like, I don't do the aesthetics. I only do function, and I just put something in a place where it makes sense, where it's functional and efficient, and, like, maybe not even the most efficient. I just but it looks terrible, right? And I do this in Minecraft. I do this in Stardew. I do this in all the. And I don't really play those games a lot too, because I think for a lot of people, the draw to those games is being able to sort of decorate and, like, have, still the efficiency aspect and still the, like, oh, it's still doing something aspect, but it also looks pretty. Whereas for me, I'm just like, I can't make something that looks pretty. That's
it's
just
very
not...
Animal Crossing to me.
Right, I can't do it. Like, that's what I mean. That's why I can't really do Animal Crossing, is because it's all decorating, but there's no substance, right? It's all like, you have this kitchen. What can you do this kitchen? Well, technically later, I think
that's like my buddy who's into all the building and the decorating. I'm like, bro, just let me kill stuff and I'll build my house over here and then just help you collect resources. Like
my house.
I love decorating. I'm not good at decorating.
Sure, and that's great. My house right now is there's no floor. The floor broke, so there's no floor. There's just a bed and 4 walls and a roof.
That's hilarious.
That's all I have. And I'm like, that's all I need, baby. That's all I got.
I remember Minecraft, like, when it was in beta. I got blown up by a creeper. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to make my floor lava. And so I spent forever. Because back then, it was, like, hard to get most of the resources and things. I'm doing all the crafting. It's different now. Minecraft is a totally different game. But
yeah, totally.
I was sitting there and I got all this lava figured out and I picked it all up and then I put glass over the lava.
Wow.
So that I could have a lava floor and I was like, no creepers ever.
No, that's cool. That's very cool. I like that a lot. That's super neat. The floor is literally lava.
In Minecraft, we definitely had like
for
sky
sure.
bases and underwater bases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We had like a pyramid base one time. Like we did all that.
Water was one of them. Dude, I would do a water base in Power World.
Like an underwater base even was like we had like with glass and everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I could see if you don't like decorating, there's really no point to having 3 bases.
Right.
I think it probably benefit you to have a bigger base. Like it'll allow you to like kind of make it larger.
Yeah, so now I'm thinking, because like I want the fast travelness. Like, so I put my second base. I assume all the maps are the same. I don't know if all the maps are the same. Do you know? They are. What they should. Okay.
I guess so. Yeah, they're not.
I put it on a super high point. So, and I thought about it because I thought it'd be cool. 1, to be able to kind of look around and see just super far. 2, that raids, like I kind of have natural defense from raids because I have the high ground. But I also learned that the raids, which by the way, I got like 3 spammed pretty much in a row while I was like, setting up my second base. Where I had nothing set up yet. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, there's nothing here. Like, what are you doing? And also I died because of course. And like, I wasn't prepared and I didn't have any resources or pals. Anyway, I realized it just takes them forever to get up to my camp. Yeah, and it's actually really annoying, and I'm like, dang it, this was a smart idea, but it may not be worth it because now they just take minutes to get to me, and I'm like, this is annoying. But I don't know, maybe I'll tear the base down and I'll set it up by my first base, and then just have a really large base of many pals. Not a bad idea.
That would be cool.
No.
Yeah, the game's good. It's addictive. I'm really excited what they do in the future. I know Pokemon. We're not putting the news or anything, but they've kind of responded to it.
Oh yeah.
Who knows? I'm hearing a lot of things. The internet's a weird place. It's like
you never know what's like.
They've already tried and they failed, and I'm like,
yeah.
I haven't seen any of that. Like I'm just.
This game has been in development for so long. Like Pokemon Company would have done something by now. And also, it reads to me very much like more of an acknowledgement to the fans. Like, hey, the fans, we know this exists, and we'll take a look at it. So you guys shut up about it. Like they know there's nothing there. I saw a video, and I thought it was a really good point of even if they did shut Power World down, it's kind of put a blemish on Pokemon Forever because it's a half the price game of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's half the dev team, if not more, and it's a better game.
Yeah.
And so it's really, like, I know Pokemon would not like to admit it, but it is very healthy for the Pokemon fans for this to exist because it may help make better Pokemon games.
Yeah, Pokemon's so popular, it created a new genre that means for a monster... And there's been monster collectors for a long time. So I don't know why people are, like, mad that this is even more Pokemon than...
Well, that's like
Digimon games or, like so many other games. Cassette Beast, I'm still trying to play. It's on my back.
Oh, Cassette Beast is so good.
And there's actually another game I kickstarted a while ago. It's not out yet, but it's going to be called, I think, Kindred Fates, I think is the working title right now. Yeah, and it's similar. It's also like a monster collector game, but it's going to be more mature in a different way. Not like more mature because there's guns everywhere, but it's going to be like, you know, like a story, a little bit more mature themes and things like that. And so, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of Pokemon fans are... they're trying to say that this is like a bad thing, but it's a good thing to have more competition, and it's a good thing that something is so popular that created a new genre. I talk about how Smash helped create platform fighters, and how having more platform fighters is a good thing and not a bad thing, because you need to, you know, it creates challenges, innovation. We don't like having a monopoly, and that is included in games and game genres. So it's always good to have a variety, and I think Pokemon needed to be challenged for a while because again, there's other sort of monster collector kind of games. I mentioned Digimon.
Games anymore.
Yeah, a lot of Digimon games actually are not at all similar to Pokemon games, but a lot of people are just like, "Oh, Digimon is just a ripoff of Pokemon." But you see what I mean? People just look at like weird little guys. Weird little creatures, like, no, it's just ripping off Pokemon. Where it's like, no, it's literally not.
Shoot, if Cybersmith might as well be
a multi-billion-dollar industry. Stop trying to defend the most prolific, rich, freaking media in the world. In the world. More than Hello Kitty, more than any other brand, Pokemon has made more money and is the most rich and prolific media brand in the world. You do not need to defend them. They will defend themselves. That's all I'm saying.
If anything, Digimon made a Persona game out of cyberspace.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. My 2 cents.
I love it. I think it's really, really cool for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We can move on to the gaming news. Unless you guys have anything else to add about Power World.
Nope, that's it for me. I mean, I'm still playing, but I'm still playing. There's not really much new to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember what I was going to say. It's also a parody very much. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of miss the commentary that's going on there.
It's...
Pokemon in itself was slavery. And so, you were enslaving these Pokemon and then they make them fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, this is just
it's technically parody, yeah.
Parodying it in a way of oh yeah,
just
no, they're actually
explicit
slaves.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's almost making fun of Pokemon in that way. I think it definitely falls under parody.
Yeah.
Some of those Pokemon Power World designs are pretty on the nose.
Yep.
And I was told by somebody, not a good source, hopefully they don't honestly, it's a friend of mine, that they may have used AI to make the designs. So that's a little in the
There's
shaky
no
realm.
proof. Basically, people are saying that because the CEO one time said that AI was kind of cool.
I mean, I could see I could see somebody using AI for inspiration, if they did the art themselves and used AI
That's
for
what
inspiration.
it was like the concept art was what he was saying.
Right.
But what's crazy, so a lot of these people, I'd bet money that a lot of these same people are the same people who've been complaining about Pokemon designs for the last couple of years, for the last couple of generations. And I'm like, cool, do you care about Pokemon artists or no? Because you can't be bashing on their designs, but then also being like, oh, but the AI, they're stealing Pokemon's art. It's these aren't little artists who can't protect themselves. That's usually the danger that comes with AI art, is that it's usually coming from stealing from artists that can't really stand up for themselves, and they're usually indie creators, things like that. And obviously, stealing still isn't good. I'm not gonna. If they did actually do that, that's still not necessarily a good thing. I think just people are blowing it out of proportion, but saying oh my gosh, it's AI art. But it's well, these are this is an industry created design. It's not these little artists or anything. It's this is the Pokemon company. And again, if they did investigate something and if it's true, then they probably would do something about it. But guess what? I don't think they will. I don't think anything's happening because I don't think they actually.
I hope it doesn't go anywhere. I love this game. I can't wait for the rest of it. It's eerily familiar to Broomstick League a little bit for me. And I'm please don't be
that one got
that burned for us.
I still have personal problems with that because they never said why. But you don't necessarily have to say why. Slap an NDA. There you go. Bye-bye.
Our logo was going to be in that game. We were so excited.
We were right there, dude. That game was... it was fun, too.
Tangent. Yeah. What's going on in the gaming world,
LJ? Yeah, so we got some fun stuff going on here. And some also kind of sad stuff. So first of all, I guess I'm just going to come out with this, that the state of play as of recording is supposed to happen Wednesday. I know when people are hearing this, we're going to, it'll be happening that day. So we'll really have nothing to say about it until next week. But I'm looking forward to what's going to come out of that. So, other than that, we also have a lot of shakeups in the gaming industry with layoffs. A lot of Microsoft, what was it, did we already talk about? Was Microsoft out? No, Microsoft was recent because we talked about Twitch.
That was this week, yeah.
Yeah, that was this week. So I kind of I didn't want to mix up numbers and stats from that conversation. But yeah, so Microsoft got hit with a pretty significant layoff. Smaller devs the devs that are supposed to be working on Rise of the Ronin or the Ninja Turtle stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Last Ronin. Yeah, I was thinking of the sequel. I think the sequels are called Rise of the Ronin, but something like that. But yeah, so there's that game that's supposed to be being worked on. Embracer Group, which is the parent company of THQ Nordic, they've done some layoffs, and that also comes with, I guess, there was supposed to be a Deus Ex game in development, which is basically another super-powered cybernetic augmented, like, type of, like, series. Like, it was kind of Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk, was a thing, I would say. But in a much less of a, like, a open-world RPG sense. But the Deus Ex games have a pedigree to them. And I guess this new Deus Ex game was supposed to be 2 years into pre-production. And that's after we probably weren't even going to get like a Deus Ex game after the last one. So that just kind of sucks because I'm like, oh, that kind of would have been kind of cool to have one of those. But Embracer Group is hit with it. So many other companies are going through that right now. And so it's just kind of crazy. Hopefully those people are finding jobs. And that, like, I wonder how much this will really affect anything. I feel like a lot of the stuff we've been seeing, like, we didn't really see a lot of, like, the game industry necessarily get hit that hard during COVID. But it's like I think we've been seeing a lot of the after effects and things like that. Like, just the results of companies struggling in the last couple of years and things like that. So, yeah, it sucks.
It's too bad. It's crazy how high risk gaming has become, especially when you think about how anyone can just make a game, right?
Yeah.
But then once you get beyond just like a small indie sort of either individual or small group that can kind of control themselves, once you kind of get to the mid to high level, the money really starts blowing out of proportion where everybody needs to get paid, and they should get paid.
Right.
But then, like, how it takes so much work to make these games and how much money you get out of it. I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of what's happening with the anime industry in Japan, where it makes so much money. You think, oh, this industry must be incredibly successful because they're just making so much money. But the truth is, it's so hard to make, and people need like certain talents, and because games are they're getting harder to make because graphics and higher expectations. Again, same thing happening in anime. Like, people need like a higher animation quality in order to be able to pay attention to anime and things like that. But then you're just running your employees to the ground. Yep. They're not getting any rest. They're not getting any sleep. They have to meet these deadlines. And then by the end of the day, if you don't make like how much more exponentially money than you put into it, you're gonna just end up with layoffs. And it's you have to put in so much to potentially get a ton back or to even break even. It seems like. I mean, I could be misinterpreting this, but it just reminds me a lot of like the anime industry, which is kind of scary because it's one of those things where it's like, well, it has to keep going. People are going to keep watching anime. People are going to be, keep playing video games, and people are going to, in fact, keep raising the stakes or wanting the stakes raised when it comes to gaming. But if people can't deliver, if industry can't, if companies can't, and they're going to keep laying off because now the money is just out of control, like, it's all bad. Then you throw the stock market in there, and that just makes things worse. I mean, it sucks. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. Yep. My thing is, like, I kind of want to see more stuff like the new Prince of Persia and some of these other smaller games we have that are like these like kind of half sequels. Like, if we can just put out some stuff that doesn't have to necessarily be like these giant budget $70 like full games, like, I'm okay with like Prince of Persia is like $50. They have like, I think of like Miles Morales. That game was like a lower budget game. Sony's done that pretty well with like their Uncharted and stuff like that, and they could totally.
No, but games all have to be like hundreds and hundreds of hours to be worth anything now.
Right. So, yeah, because people think time is like oh, if I'm not getting all these hours out of it, then like, I guess.
Then, like,
but
what's the point?
Anyway,
like,
that's a different discussion. But it's just like I feel like there are ways where that some of this stuff can be mitigated. At least I hope. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but
no, for sure. It's scary.
Yeah. So. One thing I do kind of have hope for this year, and I hope it's good because we're still talking big companies here in control of like what happens with these video games. They put out a new trailer for Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, which is the new fighting game. And this game is supposed to be a spiritual successor to like the Budokai Tenkaichi games that got real popular on PS2, and they were really good. Like I remember playing at least the second one. And so it looks good. This trailer, I've seen. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this looks like what we want, and it's more prettier. I hope that like local online or local like multiplayer doesn't get sacrificed for like online stuff. Because I saw something, a friend posted this. He's like, oh yeah, there's not like a 1 to 2 player section on this like pre-order page, or like this coming soon page. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of sucks because couch competitive and couch co-op stuff is like that's where fighting games got started. Like that's how people in households enjoyed that stuff, like me and my brother and everything. But either way, I'm hoping this does really well. I'm hoping it's not like one of those things that is like just so heavy online like focused. Like I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I'd be down with it, but I'm still because I'm still gonna probably play it. But I did check out, I guess this is kind of like treading like a little gray area stuff, but I tried this mod a while back, and they basically called it Tenkaichi 4, and it's basically got everything like you would want out of a new game in that series. I'm just like, oof, like if this doesn't do well, people are just going to go play that, which is crazy to think. Like we were just talking about like indie devs versus like, AAA devs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many people they had working on this mod, but it's up, like, they've updated it. There's stuff from Dragon Ball Superhero and everything like that. I'm like, wow, like, this is a stacked video game that was built off of Tenkaichi 3. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm just like, okay, cool. So, like, but I'm hoping Sparking Zero does good. It looks pretty. The trailer's cool because you see Goku and Vegeta fighting throughout points in their history, like they transform and things like that, like they start from square one. So I just kind of like, and it does kind of suck because it's like, yeah, sure, we've played this story dozens of times already, if not 2 dozen, like so. It'll just be interesting to see what they do with it because like I feel like okay, like the fighting, I hope like I'm not worried about the mechanics, it's everything around it. So I just hope it's good and enjoyable and that they make it interesting. So yeah, it looks good. I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that's it for gaming news.
We will get into the movies then. LJ, why don't you go first again?
I didn't finish it because I fell asleep watching it last night before bed, but I started watching Treasure Planet because I've been getting into pirate stuff again recently. And then also like been into a little sci-fi stuff thrown here in the mix, especially from the D&D campaign I've been playing. So I'm like, oh, like I have not seen, like I've maybe seen this movie a little bit in parts or whatever, but it was not a movie I don't think I'd ever watched in full. But I was like, man, this is kind of like it's almost like Atlantis to me. Like it's kind of like Atlantis has kind of got like a cult following these days because it's one of those movies where like, oh, I actually enjoyed this, and I found out later other people did too. But like Treasure Planet, I just feel like is one of those ones that I'm like, oh, this kind of gets swept under the rug a lot. So let me check it out, and I dig it. I think it's cool. Like I'm just like, wow, like this would have probably been up my alley had I watched it when I was younger, but I just never did. So super good. I also still find it weird that it's just random pirate ships floating in space. I'm just like that kind of. I gotta suspend disbelief for that one because it's like, oh yeah, we can't breathe in space.
They did some weird stuff.
They just went for it, like, which I'm like okay with, because I'm like, hey, like that, you do you, like,
Sure,
like,
yeah, we're going for it.
You don't have to necessarily, like stick to that, but I'm just always like, oh, when I think of space pirates, I think of like junky old, Firefly style, like kind of like I don't know, like, that's So it's just they're literally space pirate ships. So that has been fun to watch so far, but I'm probably gonna finish the rest of it tonight because
it's funny because I watched Black Flag, which if you watch Black Flag, know that there's so much nudity in the first season.
Black Sails,
not Black Flag. Yeah,
I was thinking. I think what you're. Yeah,
egregious. Is that the word?
Egregious.
A lot of it. But it's funny because I watched that, and that is a prequel to Treasure Island.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, they kind of don't say that right out, right? And then you find out kind of through watching it that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. It's this dark, gritty prequel to a kid's book, basically.
Yeah.
But then I was looking for a good Treasure Island movie to watch afterwards to really kind of fit with it, and I couldn't, so I watched
Muppet Treasure Island.
Muppet Treasure Island, that would be good. I watched Treasure Planet instead, and I was like, I know all of these characters because of...
yeah.
It was really weird to go from Black Sails
to that,
to Treasure Planet, but so good.
That's crazy. That's funny. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Treasure Planet is literally Treasure Island.
It is. If it wasn't obvious enough in the title.
Yeah. It's so funny.
But it literally is. There's characters and everything from like that are straight up. Like,
Treasure Island. Very much is.
Yep.
The story in space.
Yeah.
Which we should get more of that. I would be down for. I don't know. I already have options for it, but I just in space seeing a bunch of random movies. I'm good with.
Yeah.
They did that with Jason. That's a
Jason X
slasher. Jason Friday the 13th. Yeah.
That's different, I think.
Just makes no sense.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but it was good though.
I watched Fast X. It's first Fast movie I haven't seen in theaters in a very long time. Kind of forgot it existed.
Actually, wait, did I watch 9? Ooh, I may not have seen 9 actually. I think I remember for sure the last one I watched was 8.
9 was John Cena's, right?
Yes, I didn't watch 9. Okay, I'm behind on.
Okay. And the movie is... All the movies are the same, they're ridiculous.
It's not that I couldn't see him, as I didn't see him.
There's some spoilers for 9 then. 9, John Cena plays the villain. I think it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
That it's his long-lost brother.
Yep.
And so Fast does what they do. It's all about family. And so in the end...
It's about family.
I'm convinced that the Fast series is like an American anime. Like, it's like just...
Absolutely.
Like, you can...
Yes. Totally.
It kind of is. So he becomes... And it's weird because he's this, like, big, brooding bad guy in the 9. And now he's just, like, the cool uncle in this. And I was
because, like, Vin Diesel's like Goku. Like, everybody wants to be around him. Like, they're like, well,
it's
like...
so weird.
The things he says are so inspiring. I guess I can't, like, beat him. Like, so I might as well join him.
He's more like Peacemaker in this movie than he was, whatever Dom's brother's name is. I can't remember. You don't remember anyone's name in this besides Dom.
That's funny.
And Brian. Brian, obviously. I will say, though, they've picked an actor, Jason Momoa, that looks nothing like the Joker. So you don't feel like you're watching the Joker. And they told him to act like the Joker. There's no way they didn't. And I kind of love
Joker,
it.
Baby.
Jason Momoa as the Joker is perfect.
I heard they let him do his own motorcycle stunts.
That's cool.
There's no way.
In like a literal translation, Momoa would be a terrible Joker. Like, it just wouldn't work. Like in a Batman movie, I think he just doesn't have the look for it. But he is this like unhinged, crazy, like, and it's pulling from a bunch of different jokes. I would love to know if they actually inspired it or not, because it feels like they almost had to have. There's some Heath Ledger going on in there that was good on the nose. Just the ideas of like, you need to choose who you're gonna choose, kind of stuff. And then there's a specific scene where he's getting punched and he's like, ow, ow, and then he just starts laughing maniacally as he's getting punched in the face. And then it goes back to him getting hurt, and that's a scene straight out of a Batman animated something of some sort. And so it's really interesting to watch Momoa play just that unhinged, like, Joker character. He's kind of, in a lot of ways, a villain just for the sake of villain. He's got a little bit of backstory going on, but not really. The cheesy line, the memeable line of this was, it was like, what does he say? You don't have something, and if you don't have whatever, then you don't have family. If you don't have family, you don't have anything.
That gives big Woody energy from Kingdom Hearts 3, where he says, sounds like no one's ever loved you before. He said something like that, where he's just like, sounds like no one's ever loved you before. It's just like so raw.
That's savage.
Coming from Woody.
Yeah.
It's
the movie
that's what
is
that sounds like to me.
You don't go to a Fast movie expecting it to be good.
Oh no!
Oh,
You
for
go
sure.
for the explosions and the silliness.
Yeah, it is so ridiculous what they do with cars. They did tone it down. You know, they're not in space this time.
They're gonna
That
be.
was interesting. Yeah,
They
They've
could
been in
still be.
space.
Oh yeah. See that?
Oh,
could...
you haven't seen Nine? Sorry.
No,
spoilers on Nine.
I
They've
saw.
been in
I
space.
think they saw that in
Oh.
like a trailer or something, or where they were.
Yeah,
like...
I'm pretty sure that's in a trailer.
They should have made that just the whole. Like that needed to be a whole movie.
Yeah. I'm ready for Lamborghinis on the moon. We've been saying this for years. One interesting thing is that, and I'm really curious how they'll do this. Are they going to make Fast 10 and then 11 will be the last one? Because they said there were only 3 more
Yes.
installments. But Fast 10 is a 2-part movie.
Oh.
So are they going to do 11 and 12?
Did they change? I thought they might have changed that. I think they literally might technically have. Huh. I will have to look that up later or something because it sounds like they might have.
Fast 10 Part 1, and then they're going to do Fast 10 Part 2, and then 11, and then 12.
That
It's
makes
like,
no
it'll be 11
sense.
Part 1, 2, and 3.
I mean,
and 12 will be part
That's like
1,
Final
2,
Fantasy
3,
10 too. I mean, there you go. I mean, like
Yeah.
it works. Okay.
But no, Jason Momoa, I would love to see him play more. If this is his Lobo audition, then let him be Lobo.
Oh,
He's a little flamboyant, and that's really nice.
yeah.
I don't know, just because he even brings it up in the movie. He was like, there's just so much masculinity going on with me. I gotta be a little bit to balance it out a little bit.
That's hilarious. Especially coming from him, like.
Yeah, which is I think like just him in real life.
Yes. Yes.
He wears a lot of pink. He wears a scrunchies, and I think it's kind of toned down. He's a very intimidating man.
Yeah.
So you gotta have a little bit of flamboyancy there. Yeah, no, it's great. His performance was actually definitely the best part of the movie. Get ready for Fast 10 Part 2.
10-2.
Yeah. Brian is in the trailer as well. That appearance is just real strange. But I get, like, Paul Walker was very invested in the series, and I think his family's very supportive of keeping him.
Yeah, I hear they try something with it.
Yeah. It's cool. I think it stays respectful. They don't ever have him being a key part, but he's just there. He just lives. Yeah. That's cool. Let him live on in this movie series. Is
nice.
Yeah. We'll get into the movie news then.
Sure. So we have more cast for DCU's Supergirl. Not DCEU, DCU. Sometimes I forget.
Yes.
James Gunn's whole DC extravaganza, kingdom, whatever you want to call it. So,
Kingdom.
It kind of is.
Come.
I mean, it's really, I feel like he just did all this Guardians of the Galaxy stuff with Marvel, and then that whole weird thing where he almost got canceled happened, and then in spite, he's just like, I'm going to make my own.
It is crazy. Like, how did you go from that to this? But
it's really, it's really crazy.
Roller coaster.
I agree. It's really weird. Anyway, so Supergirl is going to be played by Millie Alcock. She is from in House of the Dragon. She's not from the House of the Dragon, but she acts in that show. I cannot speak tonight. It's fine. So she's going to be joined by Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and then David Cornsweet is Superman. So they're all going to be that. And this article also mentions that they're basing it off of the 2022 comic Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So that's pretty interesting. Yep. Okay. And they said they're going to maybe start filming soon.
Nice.
Like March. So maybe a release date for next year. Yeah, that seems like a normal timeline.
The one they chose for Supergirl is a really good actor. I'm really excited to see what she does.
Yeah, I know
Nicholas Hoult is amazing.
They were talking. I remember. I don't remember the other actresses who were sort of in talks. I just remember seeing a couple different like posts and different like news of like, oh, it could be her, and I'm just like, well, these women are so gorgeous. Like, I didn't know any of them from anything, but I'm just like, they're all so pretty. I mean, like, they're probably all really talented too. I don't know why it was the first thing I thought. I was like, man, they're all so pretty. But anyway, yeah, so that's exciting. I think there hasn't really been a good Supergirl in a while. There was that show, and I don't know, didn't look good. Maybe it was good if you watched it. Maybe did you watch it? It was part of the Flare universe.
I watched the season 1, and then it wasn't part of the Flare universe.
Oh, rip!
And
never mind.
I was like, well, I'm done.
Yeah, valid.
But then it did a weird thing where it connected. The Flash opened a portal to her universe.
Oh, of course.
And brought her in.
But of course.
And then,
yeah.
It was weird.
Okay. Well, I don't think that show was super popular because people don't really talk about it anymore. I'm just gonna say that. So, I don't know. I think Supergirl needs a dub. I think the movie would be really great, I think, for her. So, we love that. Also, we have a trailer for Roadhouse coming to Amazon Prime Video. Has Jake Gyllenhaal in it. It's pretty good, actually. I don't know. There's not a lot of trailers that I watch where I'm like, oh, this looks like fun and like maybe actually something I'd want to watch. But I feel like this looks fun and like maybe.
It makes me want to go back and watch the original because
which I never saw either.
All I know
I had no idea what Roadhouse was. I didn't know that it was about a fighter at all.
All I know is the only time I think of Roadhouse is in Family Guy. There's an episode where he walks around like roundhouse kicking people, and he goes Roadhouse after he does it.
Ha.
And so
Roadhouse.
And then so I actually saw a TikTok that explained some differences, like things that they're changing. So I guess in the original, he's just some kind of bouncer guy who like goes from like bar to bar or like. Business to business and like helps them out and like basically like handles stuff there.
Sure.
And in this one, I guess he's got in the old one
saving the family company.
Yeah, so in the old one, I guess like even Sam Elliott has a character who's like his like mentor, I think, or something. Like I don't know all of this in detail. I have to go watch the movie.
That's fine.
It looked much more serious than this. This looks goofy.
Yes, and it's weird.
Yeah, it looks fun.
They must have a partnership with somebody because like Conor McGregor's in there, and I guess like he's an MMA fighter, which. Jake
Seeing him act is weird.
Yeah, I don't. That's the only part I'm not that excited about because I'm like, oh, you just threw him in there just because he's an MMA fighter. Like, okay, but it looks decent. I'll definitely watch this on Prime when it comes out. I did hear some messy stuff, I guess, about when the movie got made when Prime picked it up, and I think this is the same thing that happened with Michael B. Jordan and Without Remorse. Is that they were supposed to put it out in theaters, I guess. Amazon, I guess, apparently. I don't know if it's... I think the director actually legit, like, didn't attend the premiere. Because Amazon said they were going to put a budget to put this in theaters, and they never did. So I don't know the whole details on that, but that's kind of crappy. And I guess Without Remorse was supposed to go to the theaters, probably, but that was, like, when COVID was happening, too. So, like, I guess that's an excuse, but, like... I don't know. Like, I don't know if this movie would have been theater worthy anyway. Like, I'll totally watch it on Prime. But I like Jake Gyllenhaal and a lot of stuff he's in, so I'm gonna watch it. Like, it looks fun.
Yeah. No, he's a fun actor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Seems very into this role.
Yeah, he plays a lot of good roles that I like.
I don't know if he buffed up for this role or if he always looks like that. But I'm like, dang, dude.
I
would assume he probably did for No Way Home.
As Mysterio?
He was
Hollywood, I guess.
I'm going to say Southpaw because he was in that movie Southpaw.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Another fighter movie,
yes, that's why I'm like, this almost feels halfway typecasted because he's been in fighter movies before. So it's like, I'm just like, okay. I loved that movie because it was a really good story. But yeah, so like I know, like I'm like, oh yeah, he's done boxing movies. Like, so I know that dude has probably done some real training in his life, like multiple times. So. Yeah.
He's got some Ryan Reynolds vibes going on in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he does look kind of like, yeah.
Just the way that he carries himself.
Yes. You
guys have insurance?
Yeah.
What's the closest hospital?
Yeah. There's another movie I really like that he's in called, it's a cop movie that's like halfway like hand cam like made, but it's called End of Watch. That's a really good movie he's in. I also recommend Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. Such a good movie. I think I talked about it. I talked about it a few months ago, but that's another
Australians
really
out there.
You really want to like mess with your mind. What's a Nightcrawler?
Oh yeah, I need to see that one. But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's been in some
reviews before you watch that movie because it's.
I've heard it's crazy. Yeah, I've heard it's nutty.
Wild.
But no, he's been in some good stuff though.
It is not about the X-Men character.
No, definitely not.
He's if I remember correctly, it's been a little while, but he's a news reporter, and he can't get any attention for his news that he reports on. So he finds a crime scene, and it starts with him just kind of ingesting a few things for a better shot in a murder scene.
Oh,
or a traffic scene. It's been a while. And that's where it starts, and then it just gets kind of
it sounds like it spirals.
Yeah, it just kind of gets out of hand.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a dark movie, but it was you kind of end up.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He definitely seems like he picks and chooses his roles pretty well.
Totally.
Yeah,
we love that. Yeah,
we will
fun movie news.
Move on. Wait, yeah. We'll move on to the TV shows that we've been watching. I really haven't watched anything. I watched a little bit of Vox Machina again, because a friend of ours has been coming over every Wednesday to watch TV with us, and she had not seen Vox Machina yet. She's in our D&D party, so it was
nice.
Yeah. It's also helping me a little bit. I have a character in my party that is more based off of... I said his name earlier. I can't remember it now. Percival. More than I realized, and so I'm getting some ideas of how to handle that a little bit more, rewatching the show, because obviously that's where he got some of his inspiration for.
Nice.
He's playing this shadow controlling dragonborn.
Ooh.
And I won't say any more than that because that'll kind of give away Vox Machina. A lot more nudity than I remembered. Second season's not as vulgar, I feel like.
Yeah, season 1 kind of throws me in the ringer.
Yeah,
it sets the expectation.
I felt like I didn't continue. There's not much that makes me go, ooh, I don't think I can watch that. And I was like, I'm not gonna watch this. But I might now though. I feel like I'm in a different place where I probably.
That's why with Black Sails was really hard to get through. It really kind of throws it in your face at first, and then it kind of tones it back. It's kind of unfortunate that these shows feel like they need to do that to set a tone, like you said. I look at Echo as a perfect example of you not needing to do that to give the tone away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But cool. That's all I watched though. So what about you, LJ?
I haven't really made a lot of progress and stuff. I probably have watched a little bit of Echo, maybe a little What If, more so since we last talked. The thing I did actually watch, and I don't remember if this was last week or the week before. I don't remember specifically when we talked about Marvel's Future Avengers, that anime.
Yeah.
And it definitely didn't have a Bakugan style thing going on with it. I mean, like we were talking about, I don't know if that was something else. But this was kind of a fun show. It's definitely made by particular anime artists.
How do they transform into their
respective? No, they do Avenger? Not. They're allied with Thor and Iron Man and Captain America and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But those are all different characters. They don't.
Yes, there's 3 younger kids, a few of them, and they're kind of allies for this bigger plot that's going on.
Weird.
I need to watch more of it because I don't know if it's I don't know if that's a point in the story at any point, but
I remember them throwing down something and then becoming these.
I mean, that very well could change. I definitely
Power Rangers.
I definitely binged 3 or 4 episodes and right away and didn't see any of that. But it's kind of cool. They all these kids, I guess the first episode, they're part of. So they're told they're part of Hydra, and they're told that the Avengers are villains, which was kind of a neat concept. And so it's one of those things where it's we figured out that we're really they're really not the bad guys, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But they're the Avengers are they're kind of allies to the Avengers with the particular plot that's happening. It's kind of fun. I was I could totally see this being on Disney XD or on some kind of Saturday morning thing because I'm this is totally fine. I was this is kind of actually weirdly interesting, weirdly entertaining. It was a good, turn off my brain show. Cause
it's so crazy that I'm misremembering.
I definitely binged a few episodes, after the podcast that night, and, I haven't watched it since. But yeah. I was this is kind of cool.
I just pulled up, and it has the Next Avengers. It was another thing that came up online. Next Avengers is a movie. Really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with all the kids of the, yeah.
Yeah, all their children.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's kind of a fun watch. They also have a couple different Marvel anime shows and movies. I don't know how much of them are on like Disney Plus or not, but they definitely have a few.
I might have it. It may exist. I was like, this has to be a
like
thing.
I figured it probably does, but that was where like I went because that's what we found on Google that one time. So,
is it a show? Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Hold, please. Yes, there is a show. I gave you the wrong name last week, listeners. It is Marvel's Disc Wars.
Disc Wars. That
sounds more like Bakugan.
That sounds way more like.
And yeah, so it's these characters, and then they throw these discs, and they become those characters.
That sounds like a toy line that got. Old. I was gonna say that sounds like a toy line that got made. It's like, oh, we should make a show with
animation. 2014.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, one season was canceled, so it wasn't good. Future Avengers must be where it's at.
Yeah, Future Avengers is kind of cool. Like I'm not saying it's like the most amazing thing ever, but like it was fun. Like that what I watched of it. So, I mean, maybe if it's on.
Misinformation, everybody.
I mean, is that on Disney Plus too? Like,
I don't know.
I'm kind of curious now. But anyway, Future Avengers is kind of fun. Like, I
had to literally Google anime kids turn into Avengers to find it.
That's so silly. Wow.
Alright, I'm going to find this. But yeah.
Yeah. I can't promise it'll be enjoyable. But it's very anime looking. I think even more so than Future Avengers now that I'm looking at it. If you want Marvel Avengers, though, there are some movies. I think we mentioned it last time. One of them's got like Iron Man in it, and it takes place in Japan.
Yeah, it's like Iron Man Techno
something thing going on.
Yes, it gets real weird.
Watch that.
The Wolverine anime is kind of alright.
Yeah, it's cool. I think the Iron Man one is better, but
yeah, they have an X-Men one too. That's kind of like interesting.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's been a while since I've seen a few episodes of it. I bought it on Vudu when I saw it on sale like years ago. But yeah, no, like there's fun, weird like side stuff that they've done. Like before DC kind of became the king of like animated stuff, like Marvel was really hard on the animated stuff for a while, especially the movies. And I still I have a DVD collection of like a ton of those still. Like, so yeah,
going like anime.
Yeah, so if you ever like, I would say almost. The animated stuff is quite a palate cleanser from the MCU. Like if you feel like, it definitely takes my brain away from thinking of Marvel as the MCU. Like, so I would almost recommend them if you need a palate cleanser.
An Iron Man movie that took place in Japan and was like turned into a suit battle would have been cool. Way past its prime now. It wouldn't work, but back in like Iron Man 3 days, Iron Man 2 could have taken place in Japan.
Like they had Wolverine versus Thor, Wolverine versus Hulk. They had Planet Hulk was really good. That's Planet a Hulk's good one.
Yeah. Planet Hulk. If you watch Thor Ragnarok, you kind of idea.
Yep. And then even Ultimate Avengers, you could tell where they took notes in the movie in the original Avengers from that too. Like, yeah. Yeah.
There's a scene in that I think it's Ultimate Avengers, where Hulk and Bruce Banner are arguing over like the dynamics of the relationship if they're going to join.
Yeah.
And it was like, if we're going to do it, then I get to be out. Like, and then Bruce, it was kind of like, Bruce, you get to be there when they need you, and I get to be free whenever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can come out when they need you to come out. And it was, super cool.
Yeah. Man, I want to
watch that dialogue happen like a mirror or a window.
I want to go back and watch some of those now. Like,
I think that's that show. It was neat. I wanted more of that conversation to happen. They kind of alluded to it I'm getting really off the
into the weeds.
The first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner walks by a window and you can see Hulk's reflection in it, and it's such a cool, tiny little. You can almost like miss it unless you're looking for it, and. I really wish we would have got more of those like conversations with his reflection, because that's really prevalent in a lot of other media. I would assume it's huge in the comics, but I played it in video games and I've seen it in the animated shows and stuff. And I would have loved to see more of that, like
the duality of that,
actual back and forth between the two of them. But
yeah.
Anyways, cool. You watch Future Avengers?
Yeah.
Shelley hadn't watched any TV this week.
No,
so.
I don't think. I'm still trying to watch Percy Jackson. I guess I just don't. We haven't seen the newest episodes, so. But no, didn't watch anything.
I think I'm only watching TV once a week right now too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we will get into the TV news then. This is a thing that I didn't even know. I guess I'm sad. Final Fantasy 14 show, live action TV show,
could have been cool.
Dead. Oh no! I didn't know that it was something that was in production.
Oh no! Anyway.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's actually. I mean, it would have been cool. I don't know Final Fantasy 14 specifically. I know Joe Morgan, who's been on the podcast. He was our host for a long time. He loves the game. He says the best Final Fantasy story he's ever played. And so I'm like, I guess in that aspect it would be cool. But it would be super weird to watch a show called Final Fantasy 14. Like, I would almost rather just a show called Final Fantasy, and then them kind of let the writers have a little more freedom to do whatever they wanted. And then they could pull inspiration from any of the games. And you'd be like, oh, that's from Final Fantasy 14. And like, oh, that's cool.
Final Fantasy would work really well as an anthology show. This just popped into my head like a Star Wars Visions or kind of like What If or something, you know? Like, they could totally pull one off like that. Get different artists and production companies to do it.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with the live action. I much more would prefer with them. I love Kingslave, and I don't know how well Kingslave did. Like, give me like a trilogy that's serialized of like Kingslave style CGI movies. I think would be really neat. And have it just be. I don't know. I don't want a show. I'm not gonna watch a Final Fantasy show as much as I want to see real life chocobos. That's about it.
Yeah.
They make a show out of 16, they could start making Game of Thrones comparisons again.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Could you imagine? Yeah. It'd be cool, though, to do a Final Fantasy, kind of like a Highlander situation, and do a Final Fantasy show that's live action, and then you could have, like, futuristic sci-fi Final Fantasy VII stuff going on, but then flashback to their history, and it'd be a, like, Final Fantasy 16 situation.
That'd be interesting. Cool.
That would be neat. Because they have such a cool little world going on. I know they're different worlds technically, but yeah. Final Fantasy is weird.
Yeah.
Super.
There's always a Sid. There could be a Sid in the past and a Sid in the future. Hollywood needs to get a hold of me, man.
How many times have you had just a brilliant idea? They're wasting money by not hiring you.
They need to just get on this podcast. I'm telling you.
Straight up.
If you know a Hollywood producer, make sure you share this podcast with them. And tell them they have to listen to the whole thing. They can't just skip ahead.
We have ideas. Anyways. Not all the time, but
yeah. Usually what I'll do is you can give me an idea and I can tell you what's wrong with that idea and how to fix it.
There you go.
That's more my speed. Actually what you should do. Okay, the other news story is we got a trailer for the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender show.
Finally, another trailer that's like not just a teaser, like we actually
good.
see some things.
I was completely, I'm not gonna watch the show. It's gonna be bad. I'm completely uninterested until this trailer, and I'm like, okay, well, it seems like they're doing it right. I don't know if we necessarily need a live action.
There was that whole thing about the creators walking out or somebody walking out.
Well, then that was why I was so I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm like, not gonna give them my money. I don't care. It doesn't sound good. And then I was like, the creators are out of it, so it's not gonna be good anyways. I think it's a specific line from Sokka is what kind of sold it for me. And it's where he's eating that apple and he's like, savior of the world. And I was like, it's the most Sokka sounding line and delivery. And I was like, they're trying.
See, that's what I could like about the One Piece show. Is like you could tell like they're trying. Like it's not trying to be exact, you know. But like I'm hoping like we get at least something enjoyable out of this, you know, like out of the live action Avatar. But we don't need.
I hate rehashing of things. Yeah, that's my thing. Is
we still don't need.
And I know they're making a movie that's going to be adult Aang and stuff. That's animated. I'm
And
very excited about that.
Original creators, remember that they're
maybe the original creators.
That this is like a different studio basically who's working on this.
But I would have been kind of excited for this to be like if it was them as adults or something, and they made it this kind of like weird drama. I probably would have been a little bit more intrigued. If I'm gonna watch Avatar, I'd kind of rather watch the animated show.
For real.
I've been saying this since the beginning. This trailer came out, and I think I feel the same as you, where I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not, it truly is already, by the trailer, better than M. Night Shyamalan because there's actual humor, or there's actual character moments. Cool, okay, we've hit the bar, gang. The bar's here, we've hit it, we've passed, the movie that we don't talk about, but I'm the same. I've just never... It doesn't matter how good of a trailer it is. Like, I just don't see a point in watching Avatar: Last Airbender unless it's like the original cartoon or Legend of Korra, or if they're making new things. But a remake of a story I've already seen with characters I've already seen. It's all the same. It's not like, and supposedly they're going to be adding some new stuff. Supposedly, we don't actually know. But for me, I'm kind of like, is it all worth it? I don't know. Like,
yeah, and I kind of not canon.
Yeah.
So it's kind of...
yeah, exactly. And I felt kind of gaslit by a lot of the comments on this video on YouTube. A lot of people were just like, I'm in my 30s, and I grew up watching this show, and I'm crying, I'm so happy, and I'm like, just rewatch the original show, gang. Why do you need this one? Yeah. Like, what do you mean you're crying and sobbing? Has this been your great... Not to judge anybody if your greatest dream in life was to see a remake of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think it's a very niche dream. But I'll respect it. I can't be convinced that this many people wanted this. Like, I can't, in my mind, like, maybe people really, really thought the idea of it was interesting, and they were so disappointed by M. Night Shyamalan that, like, they really needed a second go at it. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like that. I'm just not, I'm like, let's stick with the 2D animation.
I'm sure that's fine there. The redemption of it, right? It's like, we were so hurt.
Yeah.
Especially, it's like a huge, my generation.
Like, knee-jerk reaction.
We watched that movie. We were so excited for that movie. Yeah. And it was so bad.
It was so bad.
I was never the biggest Avatar fan, like, when that movie came out at the time, because I hadn't really seen it. But even I was like, yeah, this is still bad.
Yeah.
So I watched the show as it came out, and I didn't do that for a lot of shows at that age, and I was really, really excited for this movie. I was like, oh, it's going to be live action, I get to see it, it's going to be so cool, and you watch that movie, and that movie is rough.
I guess,
yeah. So there's a redemption there of like, oh, this actually looks like it could be like done right, that's really cool, but again, I'm like, I guess I'm at an age now where I'm like, I don't really need... Like, I would see more as a kid wanting to see something in live action, because then it's like, oh, now it's real life.
Right, and
now I'm like, meh.
I was gonna say, and that's kind of what I have to, like, that's what I keep forgetting, and I have to realize, too, this really is just getting the same treatment Percy Jackson got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's where their movie came out, it was awful, no one liked it, I even remember watching, I never watched the books, or read the books, but I just remember watching it and being like, this is fine, I guess, I don't know. And now there's a redemption through a show, another, live action show. Mm-hmm. And sure, it's not like a cartoon show being made to a live action show. I think there's still something to be said about that, because that's still technically, like, they're both shows. But, there is the audience of people who've never experienced the original story before. And, to that, I would say, please still watch the original. I'm sure it is the original intent, right? Maybe still watch it, but at the same time, like, maybe there are a ton of people who... I don't know, really don't like cartoons for some reason, or maybe are way more interested in live action, or maybe just heard about the show, maybe they had a sibling or loved one who grew up with the show and talked about it a lot, but they themselves never watched it because they thought it was kind of too kiddie, right? Maybe they were just like, I'm too grown up for that, and now they're like, oh, this is live action, sure it came from a kid's show, but like maybe it'll be really good. So I do have to respect that there is that huge audience out there who hasn't seen it, and maybe for them it's easier to get into something that's more live action.
I can show my parents this and be like, hey, check this out.
Yeah. So like I can totally respect that for them, and I respect if you're excited about this. For me personally, I just love the original so much that nothing can replace that. So
I got an Amazon Prime subscription back in the day because Avatar was the only place you could watch it was on Amazon Prime.
Was on Prime, yeah, true.
That's the whole reason I have got it, and I don't think I've ever canceled Prime since then.
I mean, that's a good reason to get it.
I've still used it, So it's just kind of wild that's like, oh wow, that's crazy. Like I went to that length to go watch it, you know.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I hope it's good for the sake of everybody who's excited about it. Personally, I am also more excited about whatever Her Studios is making with the adult stuff and not adult stuff. That sounds so weird. Cool. When they're grown up, kind of, and making more original content. Using some of the same characters, but still original. So I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm just not that passionate about it.
It looks good. I mean, it doesn't look like the dumpster fire that
it's got the looks for sure.
Yeah, the costuming looks good. The acting seems like it's well done. The CGI is definitely CGI, but it doesn't look like terrible.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it'll be necessarily a bad show. Just
no. Needed one. I'm sure it'll be just fine.
And then we'll move on. Before we end the show, there's a couple more things that Shelley, although she did not watch movies or any TV, you've done some other things that were kind of cool.
Yeah, so I finished my first campaign that I DM'd. So I've done I played lots of Dungeons and Dragons in my life at this point, and finished quite a few campaigns. So this is the first one that I DM'd, and this is like I've done lots of like one shots and things like that, but this was like a first like actual campaign. So that's really exciting. And it was 20 sessions, which is funny because I keep thinking like that's a mini session or that's like a mini campaign or something, but that's like a normal campaign. Like most normal campaigns are going to be around that size roughly. Like I think it's pretty average. We were always low level as well too. I think we started like I didn't really give them many levels to be fair because it was supposed to be like a magic school campaign, so they're like students, so they're pretty low level. We started level 1 and we ended at level 5. But we were able to keep it really interesting the whole time, which I'm proud of myself for. And yeah, it was really fun. And now I kind of have more confidence in my DMing because that's like always a big one. It's like I wouldn't say I'm still a really good DM, but at least I have more confidence about it. And somebody liked it, right? So
you can call the next one year 2 if you do another.
Well,
one.
yeah, and it's cool because it could sort of opens the opportunity for future things too. Like this, like it's like the story was like one big arc that's now ended, and it ended with that campaign, and now we could like do more in the future if we want to. And I've been kind of running a side campaigns for some friends, but I kind of put it on pause because I'm like, guys, I can't do 2 at the same time. But now I can really focus on that one, so that's cool. I'm just kind of proud of myself for having a little bit more DMing experience in that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. The other thing I also did, again, I just did other things that weren't watching movies or TV shows. I actually read a comic. I read the Alias series. It's Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't realize it actually came out in 2001 through 2003. That was sort of the run of it. And I read all of it, and it was pretty good. It was I liked the art style for the most part. They kind of kept changing up the art style depending on what was happening. Like they had sort of a regular art style that they went with, which makes sense. But then they had like one little mini arc of with J. Jonah Jameson and Jessica Jones. Like they kind of did this thing.
That's cool.
And they did like a really cool like watercolor art for all of it. Like it wasn't necessarily panels. It was like just big watercolor pieces. I'm like, I can't speak tonight. So that was really cool. And then there were also some times where like, because if you don't know about Jessica Jones, her whole thing is that she used to be a superhero. And so they'll like have little flashbacks basically of her when she was Jewel, right? When she was like doing her superhero thing. And it's in a different art style. It's in a way more classic sort of poppy comic style, which sort of, kind of juxtaposes a little bit with like the more down-to-earth, realistic, grim sort of reality of her present, where she's just running this PI, like being a PI, right? She's running her investigation agency and taking on different jobs. The one thing, though, is that it's incredibly mature. It's like super 8M, has all the things, right? It has all swearing, all the like nudie, things like that. So just like be aware of that. And it's because it was released on Max Comics, Max something. It was basically a line of comics where they were allowed to just be. There's
a Punisher collection I have that is all Marvel Max that I still need to read.
And I've heard it's really good. I've heard specifically the Punisher one's really good. But yeah, and it was really good. I think I was just bummed, and I don't have a lot of experience reading comics, so please forgive me. This is like a stupid complaint. But
that's awesome.
there was a lot of reusing the same panels for a lot of things. There was just a lot of like times where maybe a client is talking to Jessica Jones about what she needs to do, who she needs to investigate, etc., and they just use the same exact picture of Jessica Jones like 4 times in a row. She's like listening to someone, or like very tiny changes, and I'm like, I get it, but like, I mean, maybe I would do the same in the position. I don't know. For me, I was just kind of like, it kind of threw me off. I was just like, why is it the same picture like 3 times in a row? This is like really strange for me. That, and also the first case that she took, because the whole series kind of, I didn't know, but it sort of takes case by case by case, and they are still like in order, and there is still like sort of an acknowledgement later on the series that she completed those previous cases, but they kind of feel like their own episodes. They kind of feel like their own almost separate things that are happening, which I didn't know, and I kind of wish I knew before reading, because the first case is incredibly interesting. And it starts off like so strong, and I'm like, this is like a huge like thing that's good. I don't want to spoil it per se, but she basically comes across with this huge secret that becomes big on a political spectrum, basically, and so interesting. But then it ends, and then she moves on to the next case, and I keep thinking, but these cases seem like they're going to be like really big and really huge. Or they're like super interesting, or I'm like, oh, they introduced something. There's one where they talk about like drug use, but specifically a drug that makes people get mutant powers temporarily.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, this is super interesting. I want to know more about this. But then they kind of just, that case ends and they move on to the next case. So it's a good comic. But definitely just like keep in mind that 1, it's very mature, and 2, it really goes on this sort of case by case thing. And for me, I wanted more of a lot of the cases, but they all do just kind of end, and they do kind of move on. And I even remember there was the writer wrote at the end like a little thing about how he's like, oh yeah, this is the last of it. I actually wanted more Jessica Jones stuff, but because of like etc. reasons, like this ended up being the last one, which I'm like, okay, it's kind of a bummer, because we kind of left all these like hints and clues and things that I felt like we needed to come back to, and we don't come back to it. So just my little warnings if you're going to read it. It is really cool. It makes me way more interested in Jessica Jones as a character. I think she's a really intriguing character. But also the writer.
Watch the Netflix show?
Huh?
Did you ever watch the Netflix show?
I never did, but now I'm like interested.
Yeah, you might want to now,
because it's
some of those are topics that are in the making of the show.
Oh, then perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. But the other thing too is that the writer also like makes it kind of a point that he just loves to curse. Like he's one of those writers where he's just like, I use the F word, and if you're offended by that, well, it's art kind of thing. So like it's a little pretentious. You kind of get that a little bit. There is also a scene that is a little bit disappointing in a sense where it just shows like Christianity is being like really bad. So I didn't like that scene, but it's very short and also predictable. Unfortunately predictable. So if you kind of stomach all that, it is a really cool, interesting read. If you're interested in Jessica Jones as a character, I think it was a really good introduction for me personally. So yeah,
cool.
That's that.
Well, LJ, you geeking out about anything else this week?
Nope, that's kind of it.
Alrighty, we will end the podcast there then. LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me under Instagram and Twitter at LJ the Paladin.
And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.
It's on!